Potato chips, work of an angry chef? It was the summer of 1853 in Saratoga Springs, New York, when George Crum, a chef at the upscale Moon's Lake House, faced an unusually irritating customer. Frustrated by repeated complaints that his fried potatoes were too thick, Crum made a defiant decision. He sliced the potatoes impossibly thin, fried them to a crisp, and sent them back. To his surprise, the customer loved them. This moment, born out of irritation, would become the origin of one of the most iconic snack foods in the world, the potato chip. Or so the legend goes. At first glance, the story of the potato chip seems like a quintessential example of culinary invention through happenstance. George Crum was a man with a reputation for being a skilled, if somewhat temperamental, chef. Born George Speck, of mixed African-American and Native American heritage, Crum grew up in the mid-19th century in a time when opportunities for men of his background were limited. However, he found success at Moon's Lake House, a popular restaurant known for its game dishes and seafood, frequented by affluent visitors to Saratoga Springs. On this fateful day in 1853, a customer, often said to be Cornelius Vanderbilt, though this has never been confirmed, repeatedly sent back his fried potatoes, complaining that they were too thick and soft. In an act of frustration, Crum allegedly sliced the potatoes so thin they would become crispy when fried. Instead of being upset by this extreme response, the customer was delighted, and so, the potato chip was born. The chips became an instant hit at Moon's Lake House, where they were dubbed Saratoga chips, and were soon in high demand among patrons. The thin, crispy slices became a signature item, served in a basket with meals and eventually sold to visitors who wanted to take a taste of Saratoga home with them. While George Crum is widely credited with inventing the potato chip, the true story is somewhat more complicated. Some historical accounts suggest that it was not Crum alone who came up with the idea, but rather his sister, Katherine, Aunt Kate Wicks, who worked alongside him at Moon's Lake House. According to these accounts, Katherine had been slicing and frying potatoes thinly for years, perhaps as early as the late 1840s. Some family members of Crum and Wicks argue that Katherine had been preparing these thin potatoes long before George's fateful encounter with the difficult customer, making her the true originator of the dish that would become known as the potato chip. However, this version of events has not gained as much historical traction, and the widely accepted story continues to center around George Crum. It's possible that Katherine Wicks contributed to the development of the potato chip in some way, but Crum, with his status as head chef and his outsized personality, remains the figure most associated with the snack's invention. Regardless of who deserves the credit, the invention of the potato chip marked the beginning of a culinary revolution. For many years, Saratoga chips remained a local delicacy, primarily enjoyed by visitors to Saratoga Springs and the surrounding areas. Crum continued to serve his famous chips at Moon's Lake House, and they became so popular that they were sold in boxes and distributed to local grocery stores. In 1860, Crum opened his own restaurant near Saratoga Lake, where he continued to serve his chips as a signature item. His restaurant catered to an upscale clientele, and the Saratoga chip maintained its reputation as a sophisticated snack. But it wasn't until the late 19th and early 20th centuries that the potato chip began its journey to becoming a mainstream American food. The transformation of potato chips from a regional specialty to a national snack can be largely attributed to advances in technology and the entrepreneurial spirit of a few key individuals. One of the first people to commercialize potato chips was William Tappenden, a Cleveland-based businessman. In the early 1900s, Tappenden began producing chips in his barn and selling them in glass jars to local grocery stores. His efforts helped spread the popularity of potato chips beyond Saratoga Springs, making them available to more Americans. It was around this same time that Laura Scudder, a California entrepreneur, made a significant contribution to the commercialization of potato chips. Scudder, who ran a small food business, pioneered the use of wax paper bags to package chips, which helped extend their shelf life and keep them fresh. This innovation allowed chips to be sold over longer distances and in greater quantities, helping to transform them into a mass-market product. But perhaps the most significant figure in the mass commercialization of potato chips was Herman Lay. In the 1930s, Lay began selling chips out of the trunk of his car, traveling throughout the southern United States to build a customer base. Lay's hard work paid off, and his company, Lay's Potato Chips, eventually became one of the largest snack food manufacturers in the world. Today, Lay's is synonymous with potato chips, and the brand remains a dominant player in the global snack food market. By the mid-20th century, potato chips had become a staple in American households. They were no longer considered an upscale snack for the elite. Instead, they were available to everyone, sold in convenience stores, grocery chains, and vending machines. The development of flavored potato chips in the 1950s added a new dimension to the snack's appeal. Barbecue-flavored chips were one of the first varieties to hit the market, followed by others like sour cream and onion, salt and vinegar, and even exotic flavors like dill pickle and jalapeno. The expansion of flavor profiles further cemented potato chips as a favorite snack for people of all ages. Today, potato chips are enjoyed around the world in countless variations. From thick-cut kettle chips to the thinner, more delicate varieties, chips come in different textures, shapes, and flavors, reflecting regional tastes and culinary trends. Beyond their status as a popular snack, potato chips have become a cultural icon. They are a symbol of indulgence, convenience, and mass-produced comfort food. Whether at a backyard barbecue, a casual party, or an afternoon snack, chips are an integral part of the American culinary landscape. But the cultural significance of potato chips extends far beyond the United States. In countries around the world, variations of the potato chip exist, often reflecting local ingredients and flavors. In the UK, crisps, as they are known there, are a ubiquitous part of daily life, with flavors ranging from the traditional salt and vinegar to prawn cocktail. In Japan, potato chips are flavored with wasabi, seaweed, and other distinctly local ingredients, while in India, masala-flavored chips reflect the country's rich spice traditions. Despite their global popularity, potato chips have not been without controversy. In recent years, they have been criticized for their high fat and sodium content, as well as their contribution to the growing problem of processed food consumption. However, efforts to create healthier alternatives, such as baked or vegetable chips, have shown that the appeal of crispy, salty snacks is unlikely to diminish anytime soon. The story of how a chef's frustration with a finicky customer led to the invention of the potato chip is one of the great tales of culinary history. Whether the credit goes solely to George Crum or is shared with his sister Katherine Wicks, the impact of that fateful moment in 1853 is undeniable. From its humble beginnings as a regional specialty to its current status as a global snack phenomenon, the potato chip has come a long way. It is a testament to the power of innovation, perseverance, and, perhaps most importantly, the joy of simple, delicious food. Whether enjoyed at a picnic, a party, or in front of the TV, the potato chip remains a beloved indulgence, a crispy reminder of the power of culinary creativity.